Hi there, this is Ahmed with Double GDP. I'm going to share my latest design update. This is the ideal state of the access flow. I've shared this in our Slack channel, but I'm going to speak through it. So, starting with, so there is usually two cases if someone shows up at the gate. So, registered or non-registered. So, in the case that they're registered, we figure if they have an ID, QR code from Inkwashi, or no QR code. If they do have an ID, uh, the guards, the guard will scan the ID, um, which would pull um, the identification of that user. If there is no ID, the guard would search that individual. If that guard is not, doesn't have uh, a lot of comfort with mobile or a lot of smartphone experience, maybe they could hand it to the user to search their name. Um, and so they will search the name, find the name, click on it, and then name would show the card the same way as if it was scanned. And from there, the guard could either log the entry or log the exit. And then the system would send the recorded action, whether it was an exit or whether it was an entry. It will record it in here. So in some cases, it will say entered and show the time. In some cases, it will say exited. And I also change, instead of showing the reason for the visit, I think in a case where someone is registered, there is no reason. It's not mostly about the reason for a visit, but I think it's the type of user that is, right? And so whether that person is a visitor or a paying client or a resident or any of that, right? Like rather than defining their identity by what they're trying to do, we define the identity by their role, right? If they're an admin, that's one profile. If they're a paying client, if they're a visitor. And so I thought that made a little bit more sense than just saying this person is going, because if you're asking for the reason for the visit, then it implies that every single time you requesting that visit. And I think that might have made sense for the earlier version, but I think as we go, it's mostly about defining what kind of user that is. And once we know if they're here to work, then we can give them access rather than just giving them a single pass every time, right? Um, and then in the case where they're not registered, it will pull the request. Don't pay too much attention on the content. Any of the things that's not included can be omitted, but I try to think about it again from an ideal state and what I thought would deliver the best experience. And then whatever we can add to this print, we can move it to the next print and so on. And so from there, you fill it out. And if you submit, you get this page to either wait, or if it's too much to wait for Paniso, maybe you can call Paniso right away. And then while you're waiting for the request to be approved, on this side, Paniso received the alert, or any administrator playing the same role as Paniso. The alert in this case is an SMS, but it could be an in-app notification for Paniso. And then from there, he would click on the notification and it will take him to the request page where there will be all the pending requests. He can review the request and either choose to grant or deny. If he denies, it just denies and the guard gets a notification or a direct call for Paniso saying that that person is denied. And we don't expect that to happen as much as the grants. Hopefully, if all the information that Paniso needs is provided, then in more cases than not, I would expect that he would grant the access. So if there is a denial, there must be something unusual or a specific reason. So they could also get a call from Peniso. If they grant, in that case, Peniso would confirm how long he wants the access to be for. So instead of a 1 day pass, I thought maybe just a single access. So it's not a full day where you can just come in and out the way you want to, but we expect you to come for something specific. So if it's a delivery guy or someone, a plumber who is coming to do some work or something like that, where we're just giving them a single access, then it should be just that single access and not just a full day access, right? Because you never know, they could come back later and do other things. Or you can give them a week, a month, or until canceled, and then confirm. And at that point, it will send, once you confirm, it will send it here and it's granted. Then the guard would get a notification that could be either an SMS or an in-app notification. I misspelled it here. Confirming access. So with either a link or if it's an SMS, it could send a link. If it's an in-app notification, it will just open the card, and it could also give the option to print it so that registered member could get an ID card that they could use next time, right? So maybe it's something that we only apply if it's until canceled. So maybe we don't necessarily apply it for the single pass, but maybe for the week pass, for the month pass, something to determine and to think about. And then it will also send that member, if that member is registered, maybe if we define that we only want to send this to the member who's registered until canceled, or I don't see why we couldn't send it to any of the members, because at that point they just get a QR code. So even if it's the single access, you just send them and say, welcome, and give them their code. So next time, even when it's expired, if they have that card, they should be able to use it. We'll just figure out the right trigger. I haven't completed that part yet. We'll figure out the right way to request an extension. So at least when they scan that ID, you know that they already registered. It's just that it expired, and then you could request, the guard at that point could just request an extension. And I'll have them up very soon. So I think that's it in a nutshell for the access flow. All right, thank you.